From the Northway Bank Online Newsroom, I'm Gare McKenzie. This local and regional news update is brought to you by Northway Bank. Get big savings close to home with Northway Bank's Community Sense digital coupon book, filled with valuable money-saving coupons from hundreds of Northway Bank business customers. Visit northwaybank.com for more info. Northway Bank with 17 locations throughout New Hampshire. The people you know, the bank you trust. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. A New Hampshire Fish and Game officer says a 25-year-old man died after falling on Mount Washington yesterday afternoon. Conservation Officer Sergeant Mark Ober says the unidentified man, whose name is being withheld until his family is notified, was hiking down the Tuckerman Ravine Trail with a group of friends when he went off the trail to get a better look at a waterfall and fill his water bottle. The man then slipped on the wet ground and fell about 150 feet, landing on a small ledge about 3/4 of the way up the head wall. A 911 call for help came in about 5:15 yesterday afternoon, and personnel from the Appalachian Mountain Club, Mountain Rescue Service, Mount Washington State Park, and Mount Washington Observatory joined conservation officers in responding. Some medically trained hikers hurried to the scene to provide initial treatment. A New Hampshire National Guard helicopter arrived from Concord and lowered a rescue litter under dangerous conditions, while a rescue crew on the wet ledge packaged the victim for the flight. The victim was then flown to Memorial Hospital in North Conway, where he was pronounced dead. Conway police say a 50-year-old Conway man who used to live in Ohio has been returned to Ohio to face charges of raping a child. Detective Sergeant Chris Maddie says Timothy S. Zimmerer of Nob Hill Road was escorted back to Ohio last month after he was indicted earlier this summer in Medina County on 16 felony counts of rape of a child under the age of 13. Because of the age of the alleged victim, a young girl, each count carries a potential maximum prison term of life in prison. After determining Zimmerer owned property in Conway's Lamplighter Mobile Home Park, Conway Detective Susie Scott traced the suspect to Mars Hill, Maine, where he was taken into custody by Maine State Police. Maddie says his department was glad to help the Medina County Sheriff's Office and the FBI, and he thanks Maine State Police for quickly apprehending Zimmerer. Maddie says Zimmerer, who worked in sales and traveled frequently, has no criminal record in Conway. Maddie praises Scott for her work on the case, saying finding Zimmerer in Maine was a big break.
We're not sure if he was traveling up in that area for business or for pleasure. It looks like he has a pretty clean record even in Ohio throughout his travels. There really was no criminal history.
Maddie says the alleged crimes happened over a period of time in the 1990s when Zimmerer lived in Ohio. Zimmerer later moved to Lovell, Maine, and established residence in the Valley area. Maddie declines to discuss the suspect's relationship to the alleged victim. He says some evidence in the case was recovered after officers executed a search warrant last month at the Nob Hill Road address. A trial date has not yet been set. In Maine news, Maine veterans are gathering to honor prisoners of war and servicemen missioning in action and to raise money for veterans in need. The POW MIA Recognition Weekend starts today at Old Orchard Beach. The annual event is hosted by the Maine Heroes Fund and raises money for programs like the Wounded Heroes of Maine. The weekend's events will feature a Vietnam-era combat Huey helicopter and a motorcycle ride from York to Old Orchard Beach. Governor Paul DePage and Congressman Mike Michaud are both scheduled to speak tomorrow at a remembrance ceremony. In sports, the Boston Red Sox clinched their first postseason berth since 2009, beating the Baltimore Orioles 3-1 last night behind John Lackey's two-hitter. Coming off a last-place finish and a 69-93 record last year, the Sox have rebounded under first-year manager John Farrell and ensured at least a wild-card berth in the postseason. In the weather today, mostly sunny, highs the upper 70s with light winds. Mostly clear tonight, patchy fog after midnight, lows in the mid-40s, upper 40s in southern Carroll County with light winds, and patchy fog in the morning Saturday, mostly sunny with highs in the lower 70s. From the Northway Bank Online Newsroom, I'm Gare McKenzie.